Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning into these videos. In this video, I wanted to speak about how America is going to be destroyed with thermonuclear missiles in World War III, just as the scriptures are prophesied in various chapters, and pretty much all throughout the scriptures, it depicts the great day of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's judgment on Mystery Babylon. Now, in Isaiah chapter 13, it's not that long, but it goes into the detail of how the aftermath is going to be once this place is hit. And I wanted to read this whole chapter because it's not that long, but just going into that depiction of how it's going to be, because Isaiah was prophesying the vision of this place being pelted with those thermonuclear missiles to the point where this place is not going to be inhabited. As so, starting here in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1, it reads, "The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles." And when we're on the highways and hedges speaking this word, we are breaking the strongholds of the rulers that are in control right now, namely Esau, Edom. And we're speaking his demise. We're speaking it into existence, the prophecy, basically reigniting the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, so that every ear hears this message. So it's not gonna be a mystery as to what is happening when this is all said and done, because as it says in Ezekiel, "Then shall you know that a prophet have been among you." And we've been going out on the highways and hedges, rehearsing this, speaking these things. And I'm going to continue reading this chapter because this is what, as the first verse says, this is the burden of Babylon, which as Isaiah did see. So I'm going to continue on in verse 3. It says, "I have commanded my sanctified ones, the hopeful elect, those who have ears to hear, who they hear this message, so they could take refuge in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the secret place, because this is the only way that you're going to be able to save yourself. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself." Because when you read this chapter, you should be in that same spirit that Isaiah is in, and all the various prophets. So continuing on from verse 3 again, it says, "I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle." And this right here goes into what is spoken about in the book of Joel, just showing you that all the prophets, his sanctified ones, were speaking this, speaking about that final war right before Yahweh Shai returns, how this place is going to be destroyed. And so continuing on in verse 5, it says, "They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land." And what we're speaking about here specifically is the armaments, those thermonuclear missiles, ICBM missiles that Russia, China, and all these various countries have, and they're pretty much going to get ready to set them in their sights to America. So they're going to come from a far country, from the ends of the heaven, and Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to have a spirit on those missiles to hit this place. And no amount of missile defense systems is going to really be able to stop these things, because it's going to be in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai for this to happen. And you could read all throughout the scriptures, he pretty much already spoke it. It just has to manifest. So continuing on in verse 6, "Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore," it says, "Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames." And just reading this, it makes me think of various other precepts. Joel was speaking about this in Zechariah, which I'm going to get that in a little bit. But it goes also in the letters of Paul that he was writing to Peter. It speaks about this, the elements being melt with fervent heat. These flames that these people are going to experience, that they're going to taste of, it's gonna be a flame on their face. And you can watch various movies where missiles hit, and you can see that people get blazed with that thermonuclear fire, that fallout that just incinerates you. These people are going to experience that. So continuing on, verse 9, it says, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it." Because that's pretty much all that this is going to take place for, is for all the wickedness that these people are partaking in. Just in the days of Noah, Noah was preaching, and for 100 years, people were scoffing and scorning him, and they were just giving it to drink, wine, and marriage, just like in the times of today. So because of the sin and iniquity that is reached unto the heavens, the Heavenly Father is going to nuke this place to the point where it's never going to be established again. You're not going to be able to look at a map of America once this is all said and done and point out certain various places. This whole place is going to be wiped off the map, and what's going to be left is a smoldering pile of ash as a monument, a memorial to these people, the sinners, to show you what happens if you live that wicked lifestyle. So I'm going to continue on from verse 10. It says, "For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." And this is talking about when the missiles hit, all the soot and the smoke and all that ash that's going to be piling up like a chimney. It's going to block most of the Earth's atmosphere, namely here in America, to the point where the sun isn't going to be able to beam down onto this place. So in verse 11, it says, "And I will punish the world for their evil." So that's what's going to take place. Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to punish the world for its evil, just as he did in the times of Noah, where he flooded the world, but now this time it's going to be with his indignation of fire. Makes me think of the precept in Amos 5, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, to what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light." And kind of funny, because it's going to be darkness and not light, because that smoldering ash is going to literally block out the sun. And a lot of these people really don't know what they worship. They don't know what the scriptures are about. They don't know that they're walking amongst prophets, and they scoff and scorn just like they were in the times of Noah. But now they're just living it again in this lifetime. So I'm going to read from verse 11 again. It says, "And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible." So this whole place is going to get hit. And those who have ears to hear, who are taking refuge in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, are going to be delivered from this. That's why it's paramount that you take heed to this calling now. So continuing on, verse 12 says, "I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir." And this is talking about the elect, because the elect men are going to be purged through the chastisements, the furnace of affliction right now, so that we are made holy, made perfect, and be made worthy to be delivered. And so that's basically like showing that the men of the Lord are going to be esteemed more valuable than gold. We're going to be protected by the angels ultimately. And those are going to be the only ones who are going to be delivered out of this coming destruction. And verse 13, it says, "Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger." Because this place is literally going to shake the world. Various precepts go into this, but one main one here in Isaiah 24 and 20, and you could read this chapter also, it's just shining light on this exact same prophecy, this event that's about to take place. But just to get to the point, Isaiah 24 and 20, "The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. So this place is gonna get hit with missiles to the point where it's gonna cause a bunch of earthquakes, tsunamis. It's gonna make the earth shake to and fro like a drunkard, and it's all because of the fierce anger of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for all the sin and iniquity that this place has. And that fire that the missiles are going to produce is going to be a cleansing agent for this place. So this is in verse 14, back in Isaiah 13, verse 14. It says, and it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Every one that is found shall be thrusted through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. And the Medes, in the spirit of the Medes, right now it's the Russians, because they're living in that land right now. They're not going to regard the gold and silver of the people. Their wives are going to be ravished, their houses dashed and spoiled and torn to pieces right in front of their very eyes, because the Medes, basically the Russians, they're going to go up against Babylon, the NATO and the EU, the whore that sitteth upon the beast. And so they're not going to regard whatever alms or gifts, because pretty much, like I said this in a video a while back ago, Vladimir Putin, the prime minister of Russia, was basically speaking to the population of America, saying that they should talk to the president or the people in charge of America, because they're pushing the button on them, and they're going to get in the way. They're not pushing it because they want to kill all the women and children, but because of the government that's in charge. So the Medes are stirred up against this place. So continuing on, verse 18, their bows shall, it says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of their womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Letting you know that this is speaking about a spiritual Babylon. Right here, the daughter of Babylon, which is known as America, is going to taste of this prophecy. It's going to be overthrown just like Sodom and Gomorrah was overthrown. Letting you know it's not talking about Babylon that's over there in the Middle East. This is talking about a prophecy that hasn't been fulfilled yet. It's going to be wiped off the map, just like Sodom and Gomorrah was wiped off the map. And in verse 20 it says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. So over there in the Middle East, you still got Arabians pitching tent, trading, commerce, all that stuff. And they're inhabiting that place. But this prophecy is really speaking about this land that we are here in America, the land of the north, where we're remembering ourselves in the land of our captivity, where we're going to be delivered through Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and the chariots. When those chariots are also going to be the curse that's going forth. And that's because when this place is going to get hit and pelted with those missiles, Yahweh Shai is going to be there also, making sure that fire is at 100 degrees or at 100% efficiency. It's going to be high degrees. But continuing on, verse 21, it says, but the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their house shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate house, and dragons in their pleasant places, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. And that's representative of this place being a post-apocalyptic desert. It's going to be smoldering. Ain't going to be no bushes, berries, or fish in this area after this place is hit. Only things that are going to be moving about are doleful creatures like scorpions, owls, and satyrs, which basically those are representations of like creatures that are able to endure in those hostile environments. But no Arabian's going to be able to pitch their tent there because there ain't gonna be no way you're gonna be living off of lizards and all these doleful creatures. You happen to go there, hypothetically, those owls are gonna tear you up if the radiation doesn't get to you first. So I also wanted to read this here in Zechariah 5, because when we read these precepts, about the judgment, I also want to bring in the balance about the glory of Yahweh Bashem Shai, because this is the way that we're going to be delivered out of this destruction. As those missiles are going down, the elect are going to go up in the chariots. So this is in Zechariah 5:1. It says, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth of it 10 cubits. Then said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it." And so Yahweh Bashem Shai is going to visit this place, and we're still in captivity. So those who stealeth, because we're under this captivity of this devil, he stole us pretty much, he's going to see that judgment. Now these chariots are a blessing to the elect. It's a curse that's going to go forth onto the whole earth. And going into that curse, so this is in Zechariah 14, and I can read, going into the details of the thermonuclear missiles. But let me see. Yeah, I'll start at verse 12. It says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." Just like what I was just reading in Isaiah, just a little bit above here, where their faces are going to be as fire. They're going to be burnt, just like as the people were in Sodom and Gomorrah. Right here in Isaiah 13:8, I'll read this one real quick again. It says, "And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman with travail. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames." Because they're literally going to be burst into flames. This ain't no ordinary fire. This is a fire that's like microscopic. It's radiation. It's going to singe every element off of these people's bodies. Just ask what happened over there in the land of Japan, and how they feel about that, because the American government was the only people who dropped a nuclear bomb. But pretty much in the near future, this place is going to taste that same judgment. All right, so I'm going to read this last precept here. Actually, I already read this precept. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. Hopefully you're edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakadash, Shalom Akim.